Line 1, Port Finch.
Please stand clear of the doors.
Hey everyone, it's Monday, January 4th. The time is 3:05 p.m. and the temperature right now is 1 degree Celsius. I'm here in Wellesley Station in downtown Toronto. And this is the new Dundonald street exit. This exit opened up earlier this year, or rather last year in July, as part of a new condo development. And I think Wellesley was actually the last subway station in downtown that only had one street entrance. But now it has two. And this is my first time ever seeing this new entrance. So that's kind of interesting. So this would be Dundonald Street. There's a look to the east. There's the new subway entrance. And just to the west of here is Yonge Street. And today, I think I'll do something a little different, similar to what I did last week, where I started at Bloor Street and I headed south down to Union Station, taking mostly side streets and laneways. So what I'll do today is I'll head east down mostly side streets and laneways, and then I'll turn around and come back west towards Yonge Street. And for the most part, I'll try to stick to smaller streets. And this here is the James Canning Gardens. There's a new condo development going up. And as per this plaque here, the land for this park was donated by a former resident, James Canning. There is Bumpkins. I think that's primarily a steak and seafood restaurant. And this street up ahead here is Gloucester. This is one of the often mispronounced streets in the city of Toronto. And there is Norman Jewison Park. And if you're wondering how Gloucester is spelt, that sign is for Gloucester Lane. Oh, this car is wanting to turn up there, so I won't block it. And now I'm walking east along Gloucester. There's a look at Bumpkins. Hopefully they'll be able to reopen in their full glory soon. Here is Wabenose Lane, Wabenose Lane. I have Never come across this before, but keeping in theme with the walk, let's see where this leads us. Hopefully it'll loop us back up to Gloucester. I have a general idea where I'm going, but I haven't planned an exact route. And I'm hoping to catch some streets and lanes and stuff that I haven't yet recorded on the channel or even been to myself, such as this one. So these are the garages for the houses that front the street. Kind of have to wonder if any of them have any people living in them, as there's been a small trend of converting some of them into residential units. I'm not entirely sure on the legalities of that. There's some neat art on the back of that house. All right, let's head back up to Gloucester here. I think a lot of these red brick homes here probably date back to the 1860s or 1870s. That seems to be in line with the style of building in the city. These are a bit reminiscent of the homes you see in Cabbagetown. There's the Gloucester Mansions. And this is Victoria's Mansion, Inn and Guest House. If you're wondering, this is the Church Wellesley neighborhood. And just up ahead here is Church Street. There's a look north up Church. And there's a look south into the Church Wellesley Village. And I'm sure a lot of these homes here are heritage properties. This one has a plaque on it, although I'm not sure how comfortable I am walking right up to someone's property. Heritage Building, Toronto Historical Board. March 1984, that was designated. These ones here, 89 and 91. I know for sure these are heritage homes. Again, more homes that probably go back to the 1870s. It's kind of an interesting mix of rather old detached dwellings and apartment blocks. So coming up here is Jarvis Street. And I think this might be where Gloucester Street actually ends. Let's just keep heading east. Maybe I'll just go east all the way till we get to St. Jamestown. So here's Jarvis. I did one of these narrated walks up here last week. Just a lot of rather interesting history on this street. That is the Keg Mansion just to the south of here. That center lane is reversible. Depending on the time of day, it may be going north or it may be going south. And now we are on Earl Place. There is one laneway I've seen that stems off of the south side of Carlton Street. I think it's called Central Hospital Lane or something like that. I've walked by it a number of times and I've always been kind of curious. So ideally I'd like to wander my way over there. There's north up Huntley Street, and here on the west side is Earl Place. And after this break here, it becomes Earl Street. And those tower blocks off in the distance are part of the St. Jamestown neighborhood. And just up here on the right is the Our Lady of Lourdes Church. I recently did a live stream right around Christmas that started around here. And then I headed into Cabbagetown. I think this is a Roman Catholic church, or parish as they call it. And again, I think it was founded back in the 1870s. That seems to be when much of this area was developed and came into prominence. And that would be the top of Homeland Avenue just over there. Thought that pigeon was going to fly right into me. Maybe he saw me checking out his pigeon friend. So here we are at Sherburne Street. So I will keep heading east. And I'm pretty sure on the other side this becomes St. James Avenue. And it appears I am wrong. This is still Earl Street. I've talked about St. Jamestown somewhat extensively in previous videos, including one where I recently walked down Ontario Street. This here should be Bleecker Street. And I suppose I could turn down here, but I'm kind of curious just to keep heading east. Looks like this building's undergoing extensive renovations. I think there's something like 17 or 19 of these high-rise blocks. Originally intended to serve the working class and middle class, but with sort of the advent of the automobile and the development of the suburbs, a lot of the families that could afford to live here opted to move out of the city. And for lack of a better word, they sort of devolved into slums. And I would not classify them that at all these days. Okay, so now I am on St. James Avenue. I knew it stemmed off of Earl at some point. There's a school, and when I walked down Ontario Street, I think the name of that school had slipped my mind, and someone pointed out in the comments what it was, and here I am again, not remembering. I'd be a pretty lousy tour guide if it ever came to that. So the next major street to the east of here is Parliament Street, but I don't think we'll get that far. There's a park area. It's kind of interesting being in this part of St. Jamestown. You might be a little hard pressed to believe some of the recent real estate prices in the city passing through this neighborhood. Okay, let's head south here. Looks like there's a nice big outdoor pool as part of that building over there. So I think this here is the top of Rose Avenue. I'm kind of looking for a sign to confirm that. And just up ahead here should be where we cross over into the Cabbagetown neighborhood. So this is kind of similar to the walk I did down Ontario Street, which is just to the west of here. There's no crosswalk in the immediate vicinity, so I'll just hang out here and wait for a second. I suppose that was an opportunity there that I missed. And I hear my phone ringing. I think that's the Amazon guy calling me. When people buzz into my building, my cell phone rings and I have to let them in, and I am expecting a package. Oh well, hopefully that didn't interfere with the audio recording, as I'm using my phone to record this externally. So now we continue south on Rose Avenue. I seem to remember number 56 for some reason as being a prominent house. And this is Rose and Prospect Street. And just here on the right is the Winchester Junior and Senior Public School. I swear I actually knew that and didn't just read it off of the sign. Some beautiful old homes on this street. And I remember previously reading about this block of homes just on the south end of the street. I think it's units 1 through 11, which would be these ones right here. I think it's known as the Winchester block. And for some reason, 1879 is stuck in my head. I'm pretty sure I've read about them before. Probably as part of a Cabbagetown walk I was planning and didn't get around to doing yet, which would certainly feature Winchester Street. Just to the east there is Parliament Street. Well, you'll find the main retail stretch in Cabbagetown, and there's a look at the St. Jamestown Towers to the north. And here's a lane I can wander down. Clara Lane. So I'm now heading west, and let's see where this lane takes us. This is Reverend Boddy Lane. And this should be Ontario Street, if I'm not mistaken. All right, I'll cheat and turn right here onto Carlton just up ahead. I'm gonna try to find that hospital lane I mentioned earlier. There is neutral lane. I wonder. Nope. I was wondering if I could take that, but it looks like we will have to go down a major street. And I think this lane I'm looking for is just before the Allen Gardens. So it might be best, given all the traffic, just to wait for the light cycle again. Seems to be a fair bit of eastbound traffic on Carlton. Oh, it looks like the light's about to change. Okay, so now it's west along the south side of Carlton Street. We're still not running the Carlton streetcar. And that bus is completely empty. Cabbagetown will end when you get to Sherburne Street, but we're going to turn south just before that. There's a look south down Seaton Street. And here it is. I have wondered about this almost every time I walk by. Central Ontario Hospital Lane. Doesn't look particularly inviting or appealing. But it gives me somewhere new to explore that I haven't covered on the channel or ever been before. So this is kind of neat. One block over to the west of here is Sherburne Street. Oh. There's an alleyway that connects to Seaton Street. And that's the Allen Gardens. Just through that vantage point. So it looks like, I'm not sure how well you can see this, but it looks like this continues for quite a while. There's the back of a building that fronts Sherburne Street, and this is Woodward Evans Lane. All right, this is Gerrard Street East. Looks all clear across. Oh, we have a name change. It's now the Oskenonton Lane. And I think that would be Dundas Street, straight ahead where it ends. I have never even heard of this laneway or knew it existed. It's quite remarkable for being so unremarkable. Maybe I'll be able to scoot east a block and head south down Seaton if there's a laneway that connects us. The east side of downtown certainly has a very different vibe to the west side of downtown. I'm trying to think if there's an equivalent area to this, to the west of downtown or even beyond that, and I'm struggling to think of anything. Some less than pleasant language being uttered. It looks like I'll have to stick with this south all the way to Dundas. Maybe I'll just walk on Dundas for a few blocks. We're almost at 40 minutes here, so I think this is a good length of video. I try not to make them too short or overly long. Looks like someone's trying to log into their Rogers account. Here's the laneway. Let's just take this down to, or over to the next street. Typically you say down when you're walking south. In this area of Dundas and Sherburne I'm about to pass through does have a reputation for being a little rough. So this should be Seaton Street. Okay, now I'll just head west on Dundas Street East for a bit, so this should provide a change of scenery from the quieter side streets and laneways. There's a drop-in center. Okay, so we are at Sherburne Street. I'll just keep Heading west here, past the True Love Cafe. I'm pretty sure that's the former True Love Cafe. I might be wrong on that, yep. Looks like they're no longer there. Trying to think of what I can do to get back on some side streets.
Can you help me out? Just to push to the corner.
Sorry, where do you need to go?
Just to the corner.
The corner of the street?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Cross me over, please. Watch out for the high part.
Yep.
Watch out.
Whoop. Sorry, I wanted to get out of the way from that car too. Excuse me. I'm holding a...
Drop on the thing in the back.
Sorry, I gotta put my camera down. I'm holding something. Oh, we're up, we're up. Here you go.
Over there, so I'll go over there. Not this one, not this one.
Okay,
Oh, you got what?
I gotta keep moving.
Oh, come.
Okay, here you go. Well, that was interesting. I couldn't get the wheelchair up over the lip of the street. It was kind of hard. I was trying to hold on to the camera. I know what some people might be thinking with COVID going on and everything, but she needed a hand. We are outside. And I was pushing the wheelchair at arm's length. And she was facing forward. I'm pretty sure that's an extremely low risk situation. At least that's how I read it. And we are approaching Fillmore's. So maybe what I'll do is I'll just head to Mutual Street. There goes the 505 Dundas Street West. Why are you driving right over the crossing? There's a look north of George Street. I did a walk up there about a week and a half ago maybe. That was a fun one to record. So this is Jarvis Street, so I think I'll head north up Mutual Street and we'll get back on the smaller side streets.
Dundonald to Dundas Square.
All right, here is Mutual Street. So this area is known as the Garden District, named after the Allen Gardens. So if I were to continue going straight here, this would take me to Dundas Street and Yonge Street, where you'll find Yonge-Dundas Square. And this building, which is now a loft conversion, used to be a department store warehouse. And just across the street is the old Sears Canada headquarters. I talked about both of these buildings on a video I recorded up Jarvis Street recently. So just up ahead here should be Gould Street. So I'll turn left there and head west over to Yonge Street, and I think we'll wrap this video up when I get there. Here's a plaque on this building. Just like Gloucester, Gould is another street that sometimes people struggle to pronounce. If you're not familiar with Toronto, it can be a bit tricky to get some of the names. Strahan, S-T-R-A-C-H-A-N, is one of the hardest. Is it A-N or E-N? It's one of the two, but either way, it's pronounced Strahan. There's also Roncesvalles or Roncesvalles. Some people say the S on it, some don't. Gould, G-O-U-L-D, which is what I'm on now. Queen's Quay is another one that comes to mind, Q-U-A-Y. You might read that as Quay. There's the Rogers Communications Center. So this is all part of the Ryerson University campus. And here we are at Church Street. Oh, button for audible signal only. Good to know, we don't have to press it. There's the Student Campus Center. And this is Bond Street. We're approaching on the left. I don't know a whole lot about Ryerson University, although back when I was in high school, it was Ryerson Polytechnic University. And I think it had about 20,000 students back then, and that is now well over 40,000. And they've expanded considerably throughout downtown. It used to be the University of Toronto and York University were well ahead of Ryerson in terms of reputation and size, but Ryerson has seemingly caught up. And we have an outdoor skating rink here. And there's Yonge Street straight ahead. The newly opened Jollibee right where Gould Street ends, and the Ryerson Student Learning Center. Let's just head down here into the square and finish up. In my backpack, I do have a bottle of hand sanitizer. I'm not normally the germaphobe type, but I'll break that out after this walk. There's a Timmy's. And what are the odds that we'll see the singing guy when we get to Dundas Square? Although I think I probably would have heard him by now if he was there. Here we go, Dundas Street East. There's a look at the intersection of Yonge and Dundas. I guess this is the first full normal working day of the new year. They've still got their Christmas lights up. I don't know how long these are going to be here for. I'm pretty sure I've seen this exact same metal Christmas tree decoration online in other spots, so it's a bit disappointing to know it's not entirely unique to this area. Here we go, Dundas Square. I think there's a guy over there talking into the same camera that I'm using. Maybe I'll see if that's a video that pops up on the interwebs. All right, I hope you enjoyed this walk around mostly side streets and laneways on the east side of downtown. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you'd like to see more of this type of thing. There are links to my Instagram account and my Patreon account if you wish to support the channel. And you can check out channel memberships on the main page. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, and I will catch you on the next one.